So another day, another just weird situation, with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever and people around the organisation. We obviously have seen the Scott Agnes article here, where he basically said that Caitlin Clark, that Caitlin Clark brings a dark side to the Fever, and her fans are like a negative on the team, and it's a struggle dealing with her fans. I'm like,
will Caitlin Clark really be traded by the Fever?
Yes.
There are whispers on the internet, and the atmosphere is becoming more bizarre than a halftime mascot race. Did she get too many points? Too much of a smile? Too many jerseys sold? It's not the pregame meal, and something seems off. Stay tuned as we explore the confusion, make connections, and possibly unearth the most ridiculous front office decision ever. Take out your popcorn. This will be more attractive than a third Caitlin logo.
Third good win by the Indiana Fever today versus the Seattle Storm, but I got a big concern with Caitlin Clark, man. So looks like the Fever been figuring things out, man. So let's just say Clark comes back toward the end of the season. Fever do their thing in the playoffs. Let's just say, for the sake of my argument, the Fever win the championship, man. With Caitlin Clark having missed pretty much most of the regular season, would this championship not hold that much weight? Because I can already see the haters saying she missed most of the regular.
Let's be clear. The Fever might as well hand out "we quit" signs with each ticket stump if they were going to trade Caitlin Clark. You felt that traffic in Indiana was awful? Watch the throng of supporters running to the squad that receives number 22. What do they get in exchange for the most marketable, talked about, and Googled player in women's sports? A future second-round selection and a bag of slightly used warm-up towels. Please.
he literally said, and he was like, there are some people that are not here for basketball, not here for the Fever, but are only here for Caitlin Clark. It's like, if you're a fan of a player and you're here for the basketball and you're there watching games and everything, you're a fan of a player playing basketball. I don't see there's an issue with that. And according to his thing, to him, he was talking about how it was such a struggle for the team, and obviously he's someone who has access to the team. And he mentioned the the fans coming on saying fire.
When Clark is the main event, the Fever's arena would go from packed to echo chamber faster than you could say, worst trade in sports history. She's not only selling out games, but entire cities. Every time she takes the court, the concession stands are completely destroyed. The merchandise tables resemble a Black Friday aisle, and all of a sudden, everyone's grandma has a number 22 jersey, which you're telling us is thrown away like yesterday's box score.
I was a little disappointed in Sophie's take is that, she's right. It's just that she did say, and I thought this was a better explanation, she was saying that when she played in Phoenix, that she was in the locker room, and so many of the players in the locker room were saying things like, oh, we're going to show Caitlin Clark what the W is really about, and would sort of go after her. And in some ways you can understand that because she was a rookie in the league. But ultimately, when you see all this vitriol of people who cannot stand her, it's like, okay, well, what has she done wrong? Yeah, she's a great basketball player. So
math isn't being done. The player who transformed your organization from background noise to primetime drama is not someone you deal. Prior to Clark, the majority of WNBA players were unable to recognize the Fever insignia in a lineup. They are now the league's Beyoncé. Trending, front and center. That isn't coaching. Caitlin is that person.
A badass and a trash talker and gives it as good as she gets it. And she is an object of scorn for good reason. She's awesome. She's swaggery. She does turn your home crowd into a road crowd. She is a frustrating player to guard all of it. And if she is, for some of these teams, a bit of a villain, that's sweet. It only will make her better. She is already one of the 3 or 4 best players in the sport, as a lot of us thought she would be in short order.
They would also be attempting to gain significance if they made a trade. Since Clark is more than just a player, let's face it. She is a media machine on wheels. She is followed by cameras as if she were a debt to them. Her shots wind up on your cousin's TikTok, 3 podcasts, and 5 separate sports shows. If you trade her, the spotlight will disappear.
Poof.
In mid-June, fade away like your aspirations of making the playoffs. And it gets even better from here. Clark would instantly become a member of the American team, regardless of which team lands. Immediately. It makes no difference whether it's a team in a place with more cows than people, Minnesota or Seattle. When you put that number 22 on a jersey, the team's fan base immediately surpasses that of the Super Bowl. More quickly than Caitlyn can shoot a logo three, that team will move from who to take my money. The Fever, meanwhile, would be sitting in a silent arena attempting to generate excitement for a gritty rebuild. How cute, oh. They believe that effective defense and community outreach are the only reasons for the abrupt change from 2,000 spectators and a popcorn machine to sold-out stadiums. It's like believing that the churros are the reason people visit Disneyland. Mickey Mouse was the reason they came. Macintosh is Caitlyn.
Indiana Fever posted this about Caitlin Clark to give the official what is going on with Caitlyn's injury. So they said Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week, which confirmed that no additional injuries or damage was discovered. Clark will continue working with the medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for her return. But I do think it's interesting that ESPN has listed August 12th as a possible return date for Caitlin Clark. But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no...
This fan base isn't typical. This movement is fully developed. These folks aren't merely observing. They're on the road. They're publishing. They are making WNBA League Pass the summer's most popular streaming service. If Clark is performing trick shots in another city, do you believe they'll remain and support the Fever's upcoming chapter? Not at all. Like Swifties, but with greater free throw form, they will follow her everywhere. There is a naive belief that the squad will remain competitive and that supporters will remain devoted after Clark leaves. I wish you a very respectful good luck with it, because you're not even close to replacing her with a genetically modified super player who can win MVP, sell tickets, play point, hit threes, and kill boredom all at once. You're experiencing regrets and tumbleweeds. Let's discuss money. It wouldn't only be a poor basketball decision to trade Caitlin Clark. It would be considered financial malpractice. It would be like Apple sacking Tim Cook and replacing him with a Roomba if they let her go.
She didn't play most of the games to get them to the playoffs, all of that. She won a championship and she was hurt most of the season, and the team was out there winning games without her. I can already see people saying that, man. So I'm just curious, man, because I'm thinking damn, Clark has missed a lot of this time. You play the regular season to get to the playoffs. Clark has missed, most of the season so far. So if she won a title this year, having been injured most of this season, and then her first championship would be her being hurt most of the time, how would that championship rank for y'all? Would it not hold that much weight? Would it just be, a win is a win, whatever?
And don't even begin with the argument that it might be better for all parties. For whom is it best? The bookkeepers? Because no one else is purchasing anything else, the merchandiser is now forced to make team effort shirts. At 2 a.m, the PR intern was drafting tweets to explain why the arena was only half full. Addition by subtraction is not what this is. It's delusion-based subtraction. A lesson in how to burn down your own home while praising yourself on finding fire would be found in trading Clark. Chaos and perhaps a new wave of where did it all go wrong would be the only things you would be adding to the squad. Consider parts. Basketball is no longer the only thing at stake. It's momentum, cultural effect, identity, and brand. Therefore, there isn't a trade deal worth the backlash unless the Fever have secretly figured out how to clone Caitlyn, taught the clone to shoot better, talk sassier, and appear even cooler in slow motion. There aren't many picks, players, and promises that can light up the scoreboard, fill stadiums, and ignite social media like she can.
Be clear about this. If Caitlin Clark were not in the WNBA, we would not be talking about the WNBA. She is the only ticket draw in the WNBA. A large percentage of all tickets sold in the WNBA are so people can watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. No one cares about Angel Reese. Should be drawing flies if she were playing not against Caitlin Clark, on the court right now. Angel Reese has basically become the Bill Laimbeer to Caitlin Clark's Larry Bird, essentially.
Ultimately, the message is straightforward. Trading the sun doesn't mean that the planet would continue to circle as if nothing had happened. The entire galaxy changes when you trade Caitlin Clark. Hopefully, you won't be the ones left out. This is the point at which reality begins to backflip and logic formally taps out. The folks in charge of this operation appear to believe that the fever is the reason why fans are watching. The word Indiana itself, along with the logo and colors, has a mysterious power over millions of people, as if a mid-range jumper who isn't Caitlin will keep everyone in the country riveted to their TVs. Newsflash. Rather than act as though they care about a competitive roster without Clark, this fan base would prefer to follow her to the league's weakest team. Do you believe that a rebuilding arc has people interested? Not at all. They have a strong interest in the world of the Clark movie. The ensemble cast is not the reason they are here. The primary character is the reason they are here. This was demonstrated last season when spectators watched every Iowa game as if it were the NBA Finals and then abruptly stopped following the conclusion of the regular season. The playoffs? I've never heard of them. It sounded like someone poofing Caitlin's emergency exit button. Social media slowed down. Attendance declined, and ratings fell.
That she's the face of the league, and that's understandable because there have been fantastic players in the WNBA for a long time. But Caitlin didn't disparage them. She just came in and kind of changed the game with her style. So I think it's one of those things where you have to say, okay, maybe I don't think it's fair based on the previous women who have been in this league, but it's not Caitlin's fault. All she's done is elevate the game for all of us, and I think instead of being pissed off about that, you should be appreciative of that and say, maybe it's not fair, but it's not your fault.
You're not interacting with some nebulous fandom here. For her fan following, this is a ride or die. Burn the boat, or storm the court. They came here not to be loyal to the team. Clark made basketball seem like magic, which is why they came here. She stares down defenders like she's crafting a diss track in her head, drops 30 like it's a warm-up, and then coolly leaves like it's just another Tuesday. Is it your opinion that those individuals are remaining to witness stout defensive performances and a recently selected substitute miss 3 consecutive layups? Not a chance. In fact, you could sell out the building even if you gave Caitlin a jersey and a group of real scarecrows. She might play for a team that has 2 ball racks, no help defense, and 1 functional scoreboard. Most clubs hope to develop a devoted following over many years. When Clark appears, there is an existing audience, immediate significance, and worldwide attention. She snapped it off the dial rather than merely moving the needle. She has more fans than anyone else in the league. It surpasses the whole existence of some teams. 1 walking highlight reel, 1 player, 1 movement.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA. Since y'all want to make it about race, this white girl over here is the reason why fans are tuning in to watch the WNBA, not because of this.
Imagine, therefore, how hilarious it would be to try to persuade individuals to stick with the Fever after they have traded the same thing that made them aware of the team's existence. It's similar to launching off a tour with the main act and wondering why the backup yodeler didn't get any attention. Clark is the tale, not only a character in it. There are narrative holes and vacant chairs when she is gone. Furthermore, these supporters aren't exactly casuals. These individuals are more familiar with Caitlin's statistics than their own phone numbers. They have her jersey, mixed apps, merchandise, and other hues. They fight in comment sections, rewatch games, watch press conferences, and obsess over a cross-court pass. This is almost dedication, not only admiration. When Caitlin is cooking up triple-doubles in another jersey, notice how many people are watching, and the only thing causing the fever is a mosquito in section 112. There is no system being watched by these fans. They're observing a show. And the interest goes away when the show does. The dollars do the same. The yelling fans who traveled across the nation to witness her warm-up also feel this way.
Something that I love that she's bringing to her sport more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy, but I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. I hope she kills. I hope Aaliyah Boston does amazing.
That's what makes the whole situation, in a tragic comic sense, amusing. The Fever have more than one player on their hands. The key to a whole movement is in their possession. Additionally, they might not be aware that the game is finished if they make a mistake. In addition to the court, they will also be present in the box office, the marketing room, and any future Growth the Game meeting. Because it instantly becomes must-watch TV if Clark plays for a team that has only won 3 games in 5 seasons. She would come in and make defenders appear like unpaid interns, transform the atmosphere, raise morale, and treble income. The supporters wouldn't merely follow. They would begin booking flights, increase their cable packages, and attempt to purchase tickets by crashing the team's website. Do you believe that type of electricity will be replaced by a few pick-and-rolls? Basketball optimism isn't like that. That's delusion mixed with denial. You won't simply lose a player if you trade her. You'll become irrelevant, lose your audience, and lose your identity. And you'll see how Caitlin Clark elevates a struggling team to a dynasty, while Indiana falls further behind. I'm curious how they convert gold to dust.
People say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle. She dictates. We all know what she's done on the floor. It's history, right? But off the floor, my goodness, she and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. She accounted also for helping drive the numbers of merchandising up 500%. Of course, her jersey was #1. And most importantly, I think people look at this and think she said no. That's not the case. She said she wants her first competition to be an Indy at WNBA All-Star.
And when Caitlin Clark quietly revealed the facts at the All-Star game, she did it best without even attempting to be dubious. Playing through the dark ages of one operational concession stand, Kelsey Mitchell was afflicted with a fever for 8 years. Just one depressing concession stand. Popcorn kernels popping alone may be heard. The Fever are currently drawing 17,000 spectators to each game. Concession stands had to proliferate like rabbits in order to keep up with Draft Clark. We are discussing a sudden increase from 4,000 to 17,000, as if it were a Tuesday. It's not just seats and butts, either. TV ratings are skyrocketing. Products are flying off the shelves. Companies are scuttling out of the woods to plaster their brands on everything that moves. She's attracting attention more quickly than a TMZ scandal and creating money more quickly than the U.S. Treasury. A player wasn't the only one affected. Such a choice would not just get media attention. It was now presented in sports business schools as a tutorial on how to trash everything, and it served as a warning. From crickets to chaos, from vacant seats to a full-blown frenzy, the Fever advanced. Caitlin Clark is traded. On your way, you might as well switch out the lights.